The first crack in the house came from the son. He didn't last long in the holding cell. The boy who had laughed at fear, who had learned cruelty like a language, suddenly found himself alone with walls that didn't care about his family name. When the officers told him the charges were serious, when they said the evidence was strong, when they said prison was not a story but a place, something inside him folded. "I didn't start it," he said, voice shaking. "My father did. That was all it took." By morning, he was talking. Not out of regret. Out of terror. He handed over recordings, messages, old videos he thought were jokes. "He taught me," he kept saying. "He told me no one would believe them. He said money fixes everything." Each word tightened the rope around his father's neck. Back at the mansion, the husband paced like a trapped animal. "This is a misunderstanding," he snapped at his wife. "Our lawyer will handle it." The wife's hands trembled as she poured tea she couldn't drink. "What if he talks?" she whispered. The husband stopped pacing and looked at her slowly. He wouldn't dare. The maid stood nearby, silent, invisible, listening. That night, the husband cornered her in the kitchen. "You've been very quiet lately," he said, studying her face. "Have you heard anything?" She shook her head. "No, sir." He leaned closer. "Good," he said. "You're a smart girl. You know what happens to people who don't stay loyal." She lowered her eyes, hiding the calm beneath her fear. The next day, the arrest warrant came. The husband was taken in front of the same gates that once welcomed him home. Cameras flashed. Neighbors whispered. The wife screamed his name as officers led him away. "This is a setup," he shouted. "This is all lies." His eyes scanned the crowd and landed briefly on the maid. For a moment, something flickered there, suspicion, maybe, but it passed. She was nothing. Just another maid. Inside the interrogation room, the truth began to bleed out. The son. The son sat across from investigators, face pale. "He did it," he said again. "He always did it." When they played recordings back to him, his own voice laughing, his father's voice calm and commanding, he broke completely. "I'll give you everything," he whispered. "Just don't let me go to prison forever." Deals were made. Outside, civil suits reopened. Old settlements were dragged into the light. Journalists started asking questions about past maids who had left suddenly. One name resurfaced. A young woman who had died years ago in a supposed accident. The same woman whose case file had been sealed too quickly. The wife was called in for questioning. "They're saying you knew," the officer said. "That you helped cover things up." She cried, mascara running. "I didn't know everything," she said. I didn't ask questions." The officer leaned forward. "That's not innocence." That night, the wife returned home alone. The maid was waiting. "Pack your things," the wife said coldly. "The house is under investigation. We don't need you anymore." The maid nodded. "Yes, ma'am." She moved slowly, deliberately, placing folded clothes into her suitcase. The wife watched her for a moment, then said, "You're lucky. You're getting out." The maid paused. "Yes," she said softly. "I am." As she turned to leave, she reached into her bag and placed something gently on the table. A scarf. Old. Faded. Familiar. The wife stared at it. Her breath caught. "Where did you get that?" she asked sharply. The maid finally looked up. "You gave it to her," she said calmly. "After she cried in your kitchen and begged you to help her." The room went silent. The wife's face drained of color. "Who are you?" she whispered. The maid straightened her back for the first time since entering that house. "You never asked her name," she said. "You never asked what happened to her. You just paid for silence." She leaned closer, voice steady. "I'm her sister." The wife staggered back, knocking into the table. "No," she breathed. "That's not possible." The maid met her eyes. "You helped kill her," she said simply. "And you let it happen again." The truth crushed the room. The wife collapsed into a chair, sobbing. "I didn't know how to stop it," she cried. The maid shook her head. "You knew exactly how," she said. "You just didn't want to." In court, the son testified first. Then the evidence spoke. Then the past came roaring back. The husband was sentenced. The son was imprisoned. The wife lost everything: status, marriage, reputation, and was forced to testify against the man she once protected. The maid never appeared on the witness stand. Her lawyer didn't need her to. A sealed settlement transferred compensation into her name, tied to evidence only she controlled. Enough to pay every hospital bill. Enough to secure her mother's care for life. Enough to leave. On her last day in the city, she visited her sister's grave. She placed the scarf gently over the stone. "It's over," she whispered. "They won't hurt anyone again." As she walked away, her phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "There are other houses," it read. "Other girls." She paused. Then she typed back one word. "Where?" And for the first time since her sister died, she smiled. If you enjoyed the story, please do like and subscribe.